Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are completely demystifying the magic behind modern smart displays. If you've ever poked a touchscreen thermostat and wondered how exactly that piece of glass talks to the hardware buried inside your walls, well, you're in the exact right place. Let's kick things off with a pretty simple question. Aren't you tired of those clunky physical switches just cluttering up your walls? We all know that feeling, right? Walking into a room and having to flick 3 different switches just to get the lighting right. Or dealing with that ugly beige plastic controller for the thermostat, another one for the alarm, and yet another for the door locks. It's super inefficient, it makes your hallway look like a 1990s spaceship control panel, and honestly, it's just really outdated. So let's dive into this beautiful, unified future instead. We're going to look at how to build a human-machine interface, or HMI for short. This sleek, centralized digital canvas you see here, that's what we're aiming for. By the end of this explainer, you'll understand the exact embedded logic you need to build a system exactly like this from scratch. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the smart home revolution, meet our hardware toolkit, connect the dots with wiring and GUI design, bring it all to life in a simulation, and finally look at some real-world HMI applications.
All right, part 1, the smart home revolution, replacing the switch.
The whole goal of this project is to totally replace those physical switches with an intuitive touch control. We want real-time visual feedback, and we want to integrate everything under a single, sleek interface. Think about it for a second. A mechanical switch literally only tells you if it's up or down, but a graphical user interface, a GUI, can tell you if the front door is locked, if the alarm is currently armed, and exactly what percentage your lights are dim to. It's a total game changer for how we interact with our environment. Moving right along to part 2, meet your hardware toolkit, the brains and the display. Say hello to the ESP32 Dev Kit. This is a remarkably powerful dual-core Wi-Fi microcontroller, and it's basically the brains of our entire operation. It's going to drive the display and all our peripherals, and the main reason we absolutely love the ESP32 for HMIs is that dual-core architecture. It packs enough processing punch to handle the heavy lifting of drawing graphics on a screen, all while simultaneously listening for your touch inputs and managing background hardware tasks. It is an absolute powerhouse for embedded systems. Now let's take a look at our canvas. This is the iLine 9341 TFT display. It's a 240 by 320 resistive touch LCD, and it talks to our ESP32 brain via SPI, which is the serial peripheral interface. Now that resistive touch part is actually key here. It responds to physical pressure. And with that resolution, we've got plenty of real estate to design really crisp, clear, color-coded buttons with beautiful iconography. And of course, these are the output devices our touch panel is actually going to control. We've got LEDs for lighting, a servo motor for a door lock, and a buzzer for an alarm system. These represent the physical actions happening in our smart home. They are the tangible results of our digital commands. Basically, when you press a pixel on the screen, these physical components are going to react instantly. Okay, part 3, wiring and UI design, connecting the dots. So establishing the SPI data highway between the ESP32 and the display requires some very specific pin connections. We're looking at things like GPIO 18 for the clock and GPIO 23 for data. SPI is just incredibly fast, which makes it perfect for pushing pixel data to a screen to draw our graphics. We also rely on dedicated pins for chip select, data toggling, and reset. These are the vital control lines that keep our display perfectly, seamlessly synchronized with our microcontroller. Now for the software side, which follows what we like to call the journey of a touch. It initializes the GUI, reads your finger's coordinates, compares them to predefined bounding boxes, and finally executes the command. This loop? This is the beating heart of literally any HMI. First, we wake up the display and draw our buttons. Then the ESP32 essentially just sits there and waits. The exact moment you touch the screen, it grabs the precise X and Y coordinates of your finger. It then basically asks, hey, does this coordinate match any of the buttons I drew? And if it does, it fires off the action and redraws the screen to show the new state. Actually, think of this coordinate mapping exactly like a game of Battleship. When the touch interrupt on GPIO 33 triggers, the ESP32 checks if your X and Y touch landed directly inside a button's specific coordinates. So for example, if we draw a light button right between X coordinates 20 and 100 and Y coordinates 20 and 80, any touch inside that specific box is a direct hit. The code literally just uses a wonderfully elegant, simple if statement to verify that boundary and trigger the action. How cool is that? All right, part 4, bringing it to life, Walkwe simulation. This brilliantly illustrates our logic in action.
When the yellow light button's coordinate box is triggered on the screen, the ESP32 fires a signal right out of GPIO 25. Boom! The LED on the breadboard lights up, and the system instantly updates the button on the screen to show that the light is currently active. It's a similar story for the door. Pressing the door button sends a signal to GPIO 26, causing our simulated door servo to physically rotate exactly 90 degrees. This simulates unlocking or opening a smart door. The logic is identical to the light switch, but the output command utilizes a specialized servo library. That library generates the precise pulse width modulation, or PWM signal, required to actually move the mechanical arm. And finally, hitting alarm activates a buzzer tone on GPIO 27, while hitting status refreshes our GUI to show the current state of every single device at once. The alarm uses a simple high-low frequency to generate sound. But that status button, that's particularly clever. It acts as a system-wide check. It pulls the current state of the LED, the servo, and the buzzer, and redraws the entire interface so you have a perfectly accurate, real-time snapshot of your home's security and lighting right at a glance. Okay, part 5, real-world HMI applications. Let's zoom out a bit and see how this foundational logic builds into something much, much bigger. You know, the exact same HMI principles, coordinate mapping, and SPI communication you just learned are being used right now to control massive industrial machinery on factory floors. When an engineer presses a button on a rugged touchscreen to open a valve in a giant chemical plant, that system is doing the exact same thing. It's reading X and Y coordinates, verifying them against a digital bounding box, and sending an electronic signal to a physical output. The scale is obviously different, but the core embedded logic, it is literally identical. These same concepts are the invisible logic powering the interactive touch GUIs on the ATMs and self-service kiosks that you and I use every single day. Fun fact for you, the very first ATM was installed way back in 1967, and it certainly didn't have a touchscreen. Today, while an ATM might use a capacitive screen instead of a resistive one for things like multi-touch capabilities, the software architecture relies entirely on the foundational skills we've just covered. It's still just drawing the pin pad, registering the precise location of your finger tap, and executing a secure command. These embedded system interfaces are even trusted in highly critical medical equipment, like patient monitors and infusion pumps. In those kinds of life or death environments, the GUI design logic must be absolutely flawless. The buttons need to be clear, the visual feedback must be immediate, and the underlying microcontroller must process that interrupt with absolute, unwavering reliability. It's really a testament to just how robust this combination of SPI displays and targeted microcontrollers really is. And of course, this touch technology is exactly what drives the sophisticated infotainment dashboards in modern vehicles, not to mention smart IoT appliances. Whenever you tap the screen in your car to turn on the heated seats or change the radio station, you're interacting with a highly polished, professional version of the exact same ESP32-style control panel we just built in our simulator. So just to recap everything we've covered, you've successfully unpacked how to drive an SPI display, how to map touch coordinates via interrupts, design a responsive GUI, and unify your hardware control. You now totally understand how the ESP32 acts as the conductor, how the ILI 9341 display is your interactive sheet music, and how physical components like LEDs and servos are basically the instruments playing the symphony of your smart home. Now that you hold the keys to building pretty much any interactive human-machine interface, the only question left really is, what will you design next? Are you going to automate a greenhouse, build a custom synthesizer interface, or maybe design a live tracking dashboard for your local sports team? The hardware and the logic are completely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.